Now let's shift gears and dive into a more intimate conversation and get ready for some really unexpected insights. We now have a one-on-one conversation between Mr. Kumar Rajagopalan, CEO, Retailers Association of India, and Mr. Ajay Gupta, MD, Capital Foods. Ajay Gupta's prolific career epitomizes a blend of foresight and innovation, encapsulated in his concept of Innovision. From his pioneering days in advertising with his forward thinking agency Forefront, where he pioneered iconic campaigns in fashion and food, to his leap into food manufacturing with Capital Foods, Ajay has consistently pushed boundaries. Recognizing the growing popularity of Desi Chinese cuisine and the evolving Indian palate, Mr. Ajay founded Ching's Secret and Smith & Jones, offering products tailored to meet the demand for authentic flavors and aspirational culinary experiences. Leveraging savvy marketing, including A-lister celebrity endorsements and digital engagement, Mr. Gupta positioned Ching's as a household name and tapped into emerging taste trends with Smith & Jones. His innovative approach has reshaped the Indian food landscape, redefining the narrative around Indian cooking. Sir's vision and leadership culminated in the acquisition of his company by the prestigious Tata Group, solidifying his legacy as a marketing luminary and a trailblazer in the culinary innovation space, leaving an indelible mark on the way Indians perceive and enjoy food. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming on stage Mr. Kumar Rajagopalan, CEO, Retailers Association of India, in conversation with Mr. Ajay Gupta, MD, Capital Foods. So please join us on stage. And before we start a conversation with them, we'd like to play one of Ajay sir's favorite advertisements. Can we have the ad, please?
ना डर है बंदूक का, पर साया है भूख का। ये हमारा कल है और इस दुनिया का आज है, जहां जमीन में मुश्किल से उगता अनाज है।
जाके बोल दो अपने बॉस को कि भटिंडा हो या बेजिंग, एक ही किंग, रणवीर सिंह। मेहरबान साहिबान, कदरदान, अब्बाजान, भाईजान और पहलवान। आज मौसम बड़ा शेजवान है, बड़ा।
देसी देसी बोल के चाइनीज खिला रहे हो?
क्या करूं मैडम, प्रॉब्लम है। हिंदुस्तानी दिल जीतने के लिए चाइनीज भी देसी होना चाहिए। वैसे कहते हैं दिल का रास्ता पेट से होते हुए जाता है, तो तुम्हारे दिल तक पहुंचने के लिए क्या खिलाना होगा?
मेरे दिल तक पहुंचने के लिए इस दिल के काबिल होना जरूरी है।
ओ, तो मैं करेक्ट था
क्या
कि तुम मान चाहो नहीं भाव खाओगी।
चुनौती का मुंह तोड़ जवाब भी दूंगा और जवाब में तेरा मुंह तोड़ दूंगा। तू मुझे जानता नहीं है, मैं चू चू।
हाँ तो मैंने कब कहा कि तू चू नहीं है? तू तो बहुत बड़ा चू है, तू सबसे बड़ा चू है, इंटरनेशनल चू है। तेरे तो पैर चूने चाहिए, तेरे नाम का मंत्र होना चाहिए, चू मंत्र। चू कर मेरे मन को किया 1 2 चू 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 2 2 चू चू चू।
पकड़ से! क्या खाता है बे?
देसी चाइनीज, अपना चाइनीज, क्योंकि चिंग इज किंग।
I love देसी चाइनीज।
हाँ?
वैसे कहाँ से सीखा ये सब?
अपनी मम्मी से।
हाँ?
मिलोगी? बठिंडा हो या बीजिंग, ओरिजिनल चिंग, मार्चिंग।
Gentlemen, I leave you with that. Over to you.
Thank you. Okay, I think we've done the job. Finished. Thanks, Ajay, for coming in and taking time.
Pleasure.
Any of you in this room who've never had chings in any form whatsoever? Because the entry ticket for this was supposed to be only if you've had chings in your lifetime at some point of time or the other. How many of you had chings in some form or the other? Okay, चलो ठीक है, not bad.
Valuation बढ़नी चाहिए थी।
अभी देखा, नवीसेस वैल्यूएशन बढ़नी चाहिए थी।
Rajagopal, one quick correction. I'm not the MD of Capital Foods now.
Yes.
I'm a director of Capital Foods now under Tata Consumers.
Yes. So we'll come to that avatar, why and how. So I think many of us, and as you can be seen, most of us have had Ching Secret in some form or the other. It's a dream run. I'm sure that it's something that's very close to your heart. You created with lots of love and affection to make that fantastic brand. But before that, it was not like you are a man who was born with a golden spoon. You've done a lot of things. So for the sake of many who've kind of got various kinds of businesses, some who are new in their business, for some who do not have that golden spoon in their mouth, take us through your life journey in a short span.
Okay, one, I think entrepreneur, typical Punjabi, so entrepreneur was in your blood. I started my agency in the third year of college. Very early in 1987, I was instrumental with, and life was with us. I created then the first fashion brand, retail brand in the country with Sheetal. It's in the late 80s and the 90s. Did a lot of work for fashion, retail, and food. Kohinoor Basmati rice was the brand that I worked on. Mother's Recipe Pickle is what we got the Campaign of the Year award for. This was a 16-year journey for me. Third year of college, I set up my own agency. So this question, even today to say, at a young age, what have you got to lose? I mean, कोई मारेगा तो नहीं, कोई गाली तो नहीं देगा, तो घुस जाने का. So that's a simple funda that I learned early in life. If your gut says, right, do it. Worst come worst, what will happen? You'll fail. And I've never been worried about failure. And I think that's one critical aspect of my success also. Failures only strengthen you. Second phase of my life was setting up India's largest, I don't know now, but setting up India's largest fragrance cosmetics skincare house in the country called Baccaros. That's where I got to meet Kumar very, very closely in the early days. I still have this joke when I used to go to Kumar in the first shopper stop, and I would say, this is how I used to ask for space and not give him margins also. From there onwards, at one point I got tired of advertising and had done enough. And I said, "Sabka kaam kar liya, abhi khud ka brand banayenge." And that's where Ching's the story, the journey of Capital Foods began. It's not been a rosy journey. Some people believe it's happened quickly. It's a 27-year-old journey. Between 96 and 2004, I lost my shirt, I got bankrupt, and there was no money. These are the days when there was no PE funds, yeah? So this is the journey. You had to make money, invest, or lose your own family money, and there's no family here. I had to make money and spend the money. So it's been an interesting journey. 2000, I've had quickly go through this in terms of timelines. 2007, I met then a really maverick man who I actually went to him to say, "Hey, you've become so big, and I'm now getting bigger, and can you tell me how you did it?" And I went to him, and the first thing he said was, "I want to buy your business." I said, "But no, I came to you for some gyan. I don't want to sell your business." And the next I know, he calls his CFO and says, "Iska 40% company le lo." And that was Kishore Biani. So Kishore Biani took 13 crores, and there was no PE fund situation really, yeah? No valuation and stuff. 30 crore turnover, 4 crore profit, valuation 30 crores only. So that's unheard of right now. And he got 40% of the business in 13 crores. 2008, he exited with 180 crores. That was also the time we got another family fund out of Belgium to invest and buy his shareholding. Since 2013, we have always been as a cash-rich company. The numbers had grown. So FMCG business is about negative cash flows. So we've grown the business. We've not needed money since 2013 really. But to an entrepreneur, there's a little thing about, and to an entrepreneur, money is not necessarily everything. Just this, at the back, you having a Kishore Biani or this new fund gave you mental confidence to say, let's go out and spend money. The money that I had within Capital Foods. But now if something goes wrong, there's a fallback plan. And that's about it, what we use the equity fund for. They came in 2013, and that's when Ranveer Ching happened to us. So life mein is simple. There are 3 religions in India. There's cricket, there's Bollywood, and there is Desi Chinese. So I married Desi Chinese with Bollywood. Bollywood is cheaper than cricket. So that's how Ranveer Ching happened.
So we'll go back slightly in this, because I remember sitting with you, and when you were starting Ching Secret, we met at Marriott, and I was asking you, "Ye kya kar rahe ho yaar? Why are you starting a Chinese food brand?" And you had something interesting to say then, I can still remember. But maybe you have to tell everybody why you took this Chinese brand as a thought process.
So when you look at, so Indians, there are 5 food cultures in the world, and Indian is one of them. Most of the cuisines around are a subset of this food culture. When you look at India as a whole, there is what is Indian food? Popularly at some countries and some communities understood as North Indian. Every 300 kilometers, cuisine changes. Yeah, I remember at times sitting with some senior guys at Pepsi, and they would say South India. But there is nothing, when it comes to food culture, there is nothing called South India. In Karnataka itself, you'll find 5 cuisines. In Andhra Pradesh, distinctly, you'll get Hyderabadi, Rayalaseema, coastal food. Same happens with Tamil Nadu. So, I'm sorry, I'm talking the South Indian, because everybody says South India, there's so much detailing there. And from the West, Vindhyas upward, again is the scenario same. If you're going to sell food in this country, to me, it had to be a cuisine that came from the 30th state of India, which is China. That's a cuisine that became the most popular in India on the streets. And we had to see a foreign cuisine. When I say the foreign is an ethnic cuisine that would link Kashmir to Kanyakumari, it could not have been a subset of an Indian food. And that's how I chose Chinese. Again, there are a lot of elements of it worldwide. When you look at ethnic cuisines growing in the world, migration, media, travel, all these play a role. And a lot of these tick boxes were there for Chinese. We all know in the 70s, we were richer than China. And to some of you, it may seem a surprise, but we were richer than China. The poverty-stricken Hakka community, which was ostracized in China, came to India, and most of the cities of India had Chinatowns. Oh, till the late 70s, you had the dentists a Chinese, you had the shoemaker a Chinese, the makeup artist was a Chinese. They've disappeared over the years, but and that's how the integration of the cuisine happened in India. Little more explanation. So the Chinese come to India, and this is how cuisines evolve. The Chinese come to India, and they bring their cooking method. But over some time, their ingredients are over. So they take local ingredients, their cooking method, and that's when a new cuisine they see Chinese happens. And that's the reason I took a call on Chinese.
So here you are, you've taken your risk, you've also started your business, you've kind of got some investors into the business subsequently. You briefly explained this whole Bollywood collection, but maybe you want to get deeper into how did this happen? Because most of us would think, yaar, Bollywood ko kisi ko bulana, it's very expensive way. And B, how do I really go and approach, why should I really pay that big amount of money to create a star with my great brand that is there with me? So what makes that happen?
Like I said, Bollywood is a religion in my country. Yeah. Having come from advertising, one thing was clear. I'm not going to take a celebrity and say kale lambe ghane baal, which is where most of the time marketeers take a celebrity and put him in front and say, latest ad, Shah Rukh Khan says, ye lo Vivo le lo, are kyun le lo? So you need to look at the celebrity from a perspective of your brand and the values. Do they connect? And to us, that was one exercise that we did for ourselves. This is one brand in the world, a food brand, has a male as a brand ambassador, which is also unheard of, really. Ranveer, so we as a brand in Ching's, we are very hatke. We are effervescent, we are musty, we have fun with life, we do all that. And that was the man Ranveer Singh. And that's really where the marriage, so for us, he's not a celebrity endorser. He's part of our marketing team, which is how we've been able to create some iconic entertainment pieces that also are advertising. I mean, unheard of. What you saw just now is a 5.5-minute film. It's between 2016 and 17, this was a film that cracked YouTube and Facebook. There was no Instagram then, and this is a pre-Jio era. Rohit Shetty got an award for pulling off a film in the least amount of time. Google and YouTube gave us awards for what we've done. So it's about taking this Bollywood actor and making him part of your marketing team, because the whole thing gels together. And we've had great fun with Ranveer. Even today, he confesses he endorses some 35, 40 brands. But for him, when it comes to actually sitting and working on, it's only one brand. बाकी सबसे पैसा बनता है. तो हम पैसा भी नहीं देते ज़्यादा वैसे.
पैसा भी नहीं देते. Since you touched upon a consumer brand, and there are lots of them who've got some kind of brand, some who are trying to dabble with some branding. In a short thought process, if you have to say, what are the do's and don'ts in a brand? I know it's not a brand and marketing session, but I think you've been associated with so many brands, and I've known you as being the person who's created brands right in front of our eyes. What are the do's and don'ts? What should people not do? What should people do?
I'll tell you about don'ts, and the do's are too many. The don'ts are don't, when we are creating, and I'm talking more food. So when you're talking food brands, don't start becoming professional. When I use, sorry, it sometimes becomes derogatory in my head, everybody I meet will say Unilever, Nestle. बॉस ये दोनों गोरा कंपनीज है, ये इंडियन फूड ब्रांड्स नहीं है. They came early, they've done some stuff. Unilever is not even food, yeah. The only successful, and I believe long-term player is going to be ITC. It's an Indian company. Food, you have to get on the ground and understand food and food culture and create products for your wife, your kids, and not take gore ka bacche ka food and throw it on your own children. It's not going to work. And that's something that we in a way understood, and we constantly keep working upon. Can I talk about one instance? So, if we are sitting in Bombay, in the environment we are, pasta ka definition is barila. But when you go to UP, Bihar, Jharkhand, and now even parts of Bombay, pasta's definition and the consumption of pasta is macaroni ka tadka lagta hai. And this insight can only happen when you are on the ground. So a Maggi pasta in a pouch, which is MRP, I think $30, is a 90 crore business. And I have a 5 rupee pasta masala. And the first time to my board, I said pasta masala. They laughed and fell off the chair. That pasta masala is a 90 crore run rate business. So, and we are still, distribution is still a game for us. So it's about understanding the Indian ethos of food culture and then flipping it. One, B, it's a bloody hard work. It's bloody hard work. So at times, people look now and say, oh, you've done well. I have gone through situations. I've done 40 shops a day. And believe me, it's not easy in rain, in winters and summers to do 40 shops like the salesman in this country. And it's tough, but there is no shortcut to do that. A lot of time I see brand people sit and nowadays they talk about D2C, B2B. मेरे को ये सब समझ में नहीं आता. In fact, I don't even understand RTE and RTC. And this is a language typically spoken. So I asked them, does your wife tonight, she's going to cook RTE or RTC? This language of food, if you don't understand and you copy what is happening in the West and flip it here, it's not going to work. So that's really, there are too many do's. I just spoke about the don'ts.
Fair enough. So no RTCs anymore. I'm sure there are other brands who are going to think, hey, ready to cook, karun ki nahi karun. The other part, that slightly different one, investors. Everybody's worried about opening their business to any investor to come in. Most people do. What's your thought on what you should do when it comes to investors? And if you need the money, sometimes if you have to grow, you need investors. What does one need to do?
Don't take investors. They're painful, man. So, contrary. So, actually speaking, 2008, Kishorji we sold his shares. Between 2006 and 2008, I said, I will not meet any PE fund. I don't know if there are funds here. PE funds, I have learned it after a long time. They play a Russian roulette game. So be very, very careful. Take money when you seriously need money. Equity is very, very expensive. I see young kids today, they believe they have arrived in life because they got the money. But the game of suicide starts after you've taken the money. And there, be extremely careful. But on the flip side, if money was available when I began, probably 27 years would have been cut to 18, 19. So take money, and there is a lot of money floating around today. Take money when you need it, and take only that much that you need. And I keep saying this to every entrepreneur I meet. And over the years, I have always been laughed at saying, mad guy, 40 टका 13 crore रुपए के लिए बेच दिया. And I have said, if I had taken not 13 and 30, I would not have created this business. Because too much money makes you do stupid things. Here, we had no money. We had to create money to invest money. So the value of money and the time and speed it takes. You can't take so much more money and build your business that much faster. And I'm sure all of you have seen what's happened to many stories over the last few years. I'm also an old school guy. I don't understand this word burn. Okay, people, and I'm not saying they're wrong. It's just that for me, it doesn't fit in saying I have 1,000 crore business and I burn 500 crores. So I go back to saying, what is the definition of business? Sorry, I'm old school, yeah? So that is something that I don't understand. It works at times, yeah? I have not been lucky. Life is written ke mara ke fight karke hi paisa milega. So that's where I stick to.
I think there is also this thought that whatever it is that you create, you should be able to see that that creation is going to outlive you. If you're creating value and if that creation can outlive you, then it's something that you've done with some amount of purpose. Otherwise, like you said, no, you pass the baby to somebody else, it's a wailing baby, it's gone on to somebody else, and then suddenly you find that whole business has gone kaput. Okay, it's not like businesses don't go kaput, but valuation is a very different game, I guess. The other part is about families. And most businessmen all around have got their families. They've got to take care of their families. They've created their businesses, and families are part of the business. You've always had an ethos towards allowing a family member in the business or not. So what's your thought on that?
No, Kumar, for me, from my advertising days, I have seen some bad stories about family and business. There's objectivity and subjectivity. When you have family in the business, surely there are good points to it. I'm just saying my experiences were family brings subjectivity in the business and no objectivity. I have a history of clients of mine in advertising, very, very big brands at one time, Sheetal at Grant Road, Kala Niketan, Bombay people know Kala Niketan saris. There was this, once upon a time, a brand called Ginny Johnny, which is a high-end clothing, kids clothing brand. They all went kaput because of family fights. So I personally had a call, my family not allowed, your family not allowed. Me and my employees take decision within the company from day one, no family members allowed. So to me, the family that's now gets created are my colleagues, and I'm not calling them employees, are colleagues. I can fight with them on topics, I can enjoy with them, and it's only objective. So it doesn't become the wives will fight, the problem will come to office. I can fight with my colleague on a topic, walk out of the office and still shake hands with him, still smoke a cigarette with him. That will not happen if my brother is sitting there. Then the fight goes home. So really speaking, I took a call very clearly, no family members allowed. Also, if you're looking at taking money, and this is something that I learned later, if you're looking at taking money from PE funds and stuff, it becomes, this is a great governance situation that I was lucky on. I didn't do it for them, but every time they look at my balance sheet and my company, they say, oh, damn good, no family. Which means gadbad nahi hai idhar. So that's also, keep that in mind if you're wanting to raise money. Including when Tata Consumer was doing our diligence, they're very happy. Yeah, there is no family here, which means no hanky-panky in the business. So there is this other end to it also.
We've got 2 minutes. So if anybody in the audience needs to ask questions, and Ajay is okay to be asked any kind of questions. He knows how to tackle any question. So I'll give that to him. Any questions from the audience? The cost of production.
This production, television channels called it the most expensive film was 75 crores. It was not. So it was not. Okay, so this was also, when paisa nahi hota na, you think out of your head. So we found this thing saying a Bollywood director has to deliver 100 crore brand in 3 days. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday finish. Yeah, he has to do it in 3 days. These buggers know, these guys know the mass of India. So we go to them to create our advertising. One, B, between films, their entire organization is sitting idle. So when you go to them, actually speaking, the cost is cheaper than going to an advertising guy. Because for him, everything is sitting for free. So all money is made money. So don't ask me how much, but it's not as expensive as it looks.
It's like taking a hoarding site where nobody's picked it up, right? Many a times we've done that before. So ask us. Okay, that was a nice one. Anybody else? अरे ask something atrocious. इतना पैसा मिल गया अब क्या करोगे यार पैसा लेकर के?
पैसा लेके क्या करोगे? Good question, man. So that's also another one. You know, many times you also asked, why do you want to sell? So I read this one line saying, the definition of enough. You need to know when is enough. Yeah. So at 58, I said enough. And also, you know, like you were saying earlier, you need to hand over, your brands are much larger than your own ego. So it was important to hand over the brands to somebody who would take it to the next level, and you could, in the sunset, also be proud of them. So that was one reason. पैसे का क्या करेंगे is also, पैसा बनाना बहुत difficult है, पैसा maintain करना उससे भी difficult है. This is something that I learned. अभी तक सोचा नहीं, अभी आया है. No, so for my reason, I didn't take money from friends and family also. I didn't have too many friends and family who had money. So I come from my background is I come from a simple middle class home. There were no friends and family who had money to give me. What I had made in advertising is how I began this. No, what your question is, you can take money from your friends and family, but don't take money as investors. Don't involve them in the business. Because that's when your friend me after some time. So it's better to take money, deliver profitability to them, but don't involve them in business, because then that becomes subjective. तूने ये बोला, मैंने ये बोला. With your colleagues, you can say this is right. You may be wrong, but at that time there is not going to be fight on it. So that you be careful of.
Okay, time's up. So if all of you enjoyed what's happened here with Ching Secret, please do raise. And
Thank you.
Good set of applause.